ladies and gentlemen, episode 158 Hustle Season! Oh, yeah. My name is Gabe, James, Tony's here. I'm Cam. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in RVA again. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And it's another podcast. We do this every Friday. I want to say, first of all, thank you to everyone that shared our video and shared our project. Volume 1, The Hustle Season, debuted last Friday.
Praise be to the fans.
I tell you, it was pretty fun to do that. It was great. I really had a great time, just like putting the stuff up, and Tony. We have to give Tony a super crazy amount of credit because you put in a ton of work, brother. A ton of work. James,
thank you.
Also put in a ton of work.
For James, also.
And also, we have to give it up to our guy, Tyler, for coming through in the clutch. What kind of reactions did you guys get to the record, like from friends or messages? Anybody want to chime in on that?
Positive stuff. Like I said earlier, my mom loved the video.
No, that's of course.
Tons of reposts from people I didn't expect. I don't know. You never know how these things are going to get around.
Mm-hmm.
It's always nerve-wracking sometimes putting something out because you don't know what people think of it, but everybody really liked it. And so it was cool, and to be a focal point of the video was different.
Yeah,
in a good way.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah,
So about town.
So yeah, no, but like the not just the video, but also checking out the record and everything. I had fun listening to the record myself because, I mean, it's funny. I know you guys probably listen to it too, but I'm like not on 4 tracks, so all those tracks sound super fresh to me because I didn't. Just sit with those, how we're going to do this or that. They were just tracks that other people did. So it was cool. It's collabo.
I agree, actually. The listening to the Trash Check, I hadn't listened to some of the songs in headphones, so I have just been really was in the car for the most part. So listening to it after my class was done or whatever, and just playing the record and sitting with the headphones and just really just taking it all in. It was so much fun, especially listening to 10 Gallon. The Trash Tech song, the Trash Tech has been stuck in my brain actually since Friday. That melody is so cool. It's their theme songs and stuff, but it's funny. It's just that. But you actually got some nice melodies and stuff, and some great instrumentation. It's great. It's hook ear candy. I dug it.
Yeah, I had a good time listening to it too. I love that it's just has a good representation of all the stuff that we think is interesting, and it just makes me excited about the next one. It's just we can do this. Oh shit, we can do this. We can put our minds to something and actually produce something and finish it, put it out. It's the best first step possible. And I've been getting lots of good text messages about people loving the record and loving the videos.
I'm seeing people in my family that I think have
me too.
never checked out really my any parts of my music stuff or whatever. They're liking it and digging it, and I'm just like, wow, it's different, It's on another level. James, what about you, man?
Nobody in my family knew that I made this album until I showed one of them in person. I showed my sister. She liked it. She was very impressed. I got some messages from people.
That's cool.
It's good. I'm happy with it. I think for something that we did so fast, as far as from the time we decided to make this a full length to the time it was released, I'm very happy with what we did in such a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I that's my biggest takeaway from this is that we could actually do it and make a cool product. And I think under the circumstances,
right,
it was
right.
all of a sudden, we couldn't even do what we were doing. We actually were meeting up and practicing.
Yeah.
We actually were doing a lot of stuff. We all had to reevaluate our whole lives before coming back to something that was just for the love.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I felt really happy and satisfied that I could finish something, especially right now. It's just some semblance of, oh yeah, we do music, as opposed to just feeling like it's something that's in the past. You know,
Yeah.
like
Those-
just being in a band. You know,
Some of those tracks were like so old. Like, I mean, and I was just like, I kind of forgot, like, even like the theme to the whole season, the flavor quest and shit.
Right. Yeah.
Like, that shit, like, I've heard the intro to this and like the outro a handful of times when, sometimes I'll check out the podcast or whatever and just I want to show somebody something or whatever. But, yeah, but I haven't heard the solo sections in forever.
I thought the same thing. I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
I play solo in this.
Yeah.
I didn't know you played solo in this. I was
forgot,
like, oh shit. I was like,
I
Reggie
totally
on this.
forgot.
It actually
We
was
go-
kind of
we-
it feels like a show almost because like listen to that song because it's like, oh, there's a synth solo. Oh,
Pass
oh.
the solos around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
passing the solos is
Yeah,
cool. Man.
I was like, damn, this band sounds all right.
We did a Latin section.
It's all right.
I was like, "There's a Latin section? Holy shit, we did a Latin section on this."
Yeah.
Man, it was that was a trip. Just that first having that kick off the record, I was like, man, this is a way to start a record, man, with
Yeah.
an instrumental track. Like yo,
straight up
straight
instrumental.
up instrumental. But
Yeah.
it's fast paced. It's not like there's some kind of excitement to it. There's different solos. It's it's really fun. And then going from that to I think it's Florida, right? Is Florida
Yeah.
second? Yeah. I mean, just that I loved
It's fun the whole time.
I loved it from top to bottom, man. And
Here's the other thing too,
yeah.
like people might not know this. Fun fact: this that song "Flavor Quest" was like, or the intro music to the show.
Mhm.
It was probably recorded a year before we started doing the show.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Right,
know, it was
right.
just kind of like something just there. Like we did the let's see, we did like the what am I trying to think of? The
I
fucking
don't know what you're talking about.
we did the rhythm section stuff.
Oh, the rhythm section. Yeah,
did
yeah.
the rhythm stuff. Just let me think about it.
what are you fucking talking about?
Anyway, no, we did the rhythm section stuff, and then put some horn stuff over it and solos and stuff, and we kind of just let it sit there. And then the first 50 episodes of the show, we got the Know the Ledge.
The ledge.
From the original Hustle Season
Boom,
podcast,
boom,
if you
boom,
will.
boom, boom, boom.
So, and then
yeah.
like you think Kelly came to me and was like, "Do y'all still have that random song we recorded like a year ago?"
Yeah.
We're like, "Yeah."
That should be our thing right there. And then I don't think was Reggie on that already before that?
Yeah, no, I think
I think I was.
Yeah, he was.
everything was done. It's just
It was, I don't think. Yeah, I was like, oh, well, we're all on this song.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
That was I think that's why we did it.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
we were all on it.
Yeah, so it made sense. It was, and it's great. It's us. It's our own original thing. And again, the involvement with the record is just like I feel like we were able to let out some really cool personal, things about the stuff that we like, individually.
Yeah.
And it really kind of got out without without that much editing. You know what I mean? Like usually kind of that stuff kind of gets like, pushed to the side a little bit. You get panned this way, you get panned that way. Man, I got this little part right here. That's cool. You might find it on the record, but you know what I mean? So it's
Right.
like we got to put a lot of us into this,
Yeah.
and I'm like really and it felt great, and I think that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, I felt like it was also a good version of trust. You join a band or any sort of group project, not just bands, coworkers too. It's like if you have to make projects together, you have to figure out what the trust is going to look like.
Right.
And I feel like this group of guys is like we all so clearly want shit to be dope
Yeah.
that we never have to like rethink about that.
Right.
I was like, oh, Kelly's doing the thing. Oh, yeah, I'm sure that'd be dope. I can't wait to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And if we heard it and we thought it was whack, we'd just be like, oh, I don't know about this.
Right.
I
mean, yeah, no, I mean,
but for real.
I think that's the thing. It was like individually, it was just little pieces of stuff, and it was like it worked for. It just there was reasons for why it was there.
Well,
I was like, that's fine.
I had
whatever, but
I had absolutely no intention of putting 10 Gallon Hat on this whatsoever. But
Wow,
at
really?
all? Yeah, no, not at all. Reggie was like, "Oh, it's cool. You should put on. We should, do this.
Just
and
flesh
that
it out."
And put it on the thing." I was like, "Okay."
wow,
Yeah.
Because that whole song was like a garage band demo on my iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
Like even the acoustic guitar thing was like recorded on the phone.
Yeah,
Like it's just the sample from GarageBand. But
It's dope, man.
It's so
and
dope.
that's
But,
very normal. I feel like, since we're from a certain time of making music with bands, that to you, I guess that feels strange. But I feel more music is made that way than the other way around. these days.
Well,
Like,
I think
so
Well,
much music
I think
is
it-
a
well-
demo on a phone now.
Well, also, though, what's so cool about that it's a demo on a phone is that it's a demo, and because of the form of media, now it's not just some 4-track cassette tape. It's like
No.
something that I actually was able to export what I used from the demo. It sounded good.
Yeah.
Right.
And I kept it, and it went from conception all the way to the finished product.
It's modern.
Yeah, I think that
It's modern production.
I think that was the coolest part about it, is that it definitely made. I just enjoy the fact that we could just take personal bits from everything, that, phone stuff,
Yeah.
from GarageBand stuff. I was literally learning how, I started sending tons of questions to James all the time because I kind of just got really heavier into the just recording side of things and, got into Logic and everything. So it was kind of like it was an interesting time to be able to record this way, and I'm so happy we were able to do it and get it out. And we set a deadline for ourselves. We just did things in a different way, and I think it helped step our game up in a lot of ways. And so we're excited to do more. And we appreciate everyone listening and checking us out. It is Bandcamp Friday, y'all. So make sure you hit up Bandcamp and check out the Hustle Season. .bandcamp.com because we got the whole record right there.
Yeah.
And I believe there's some merch up there as well. So
Yeah,
make sure
buddy.
you check that out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's a
buddy.
good thing.
New to us.
Yeah.
New,
And
yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And all the rest of the artists out here that ever listen to us, hey, just get started. This is a good example of like, I want to do this. Well, I want to do this. Well, I want to do this. Hey, let's get started.
Get started.
Put it on the calendar. You can actually do it. And it didn't. We shot that video. I mean, there was a bunch of planning, but the video itself was a day.
Yeah.
The video process from the time that we showed up on location to do the shoot to when we had a finished cut of the video was 5 days.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. I mean, setting that time for ourselves was really good. But I think, one of the biggest lessons from this whole period has been time management for me personally. Is like, when am I going to really spend the time with? Because I'm not doing all the things that I used to be doing all the time. I'm not gigging all the time. I'm not learning a bunch of music all the time now for an upcoming thing or whatever. It's really what you're putting on yourself, and what are you trying to do? And at this time we were able to make a record and put it out, and a video, and still do the podcast. And we're going to keep doing all these things. And hopefully you're going to be on this journey with us. We're going to you have a YouTube channel that is up. We'll have all the links on Linktree and all that stuff on Facebook. It's everywhere. We're going to be everywhere in your face, and we hope you guys enjoy it. There's going to be more here. But there was a couple other records that came out on Friday by Mr. Busta Rhymes. On Friday.
Yeah.
And also, Mr. Bungle came out with. Was that a re-recording?
That was a live.
They did a live
show.
thing. So the deal with that is they had a demo that they cut in the late 80s when they're like in high school.
Right, 1986?
86,
Yeah.
yeah. And Scott Ian from Anthrax and Dave Lombardo from Slayer were big fans of it. They were kind of geeking out on it, learned the whole album, and then
They got time. They got the time.
approached Trevor Dunn and Trey Spruance and Mike Patton, and pretty much were like, hey, we already know all the music and everything. We've learned it. It's fresh to us. And would you want to, just play it? I don't even think it was originally meant to be a gig, even. It was just like, let's just hang
You're
and
like,
do
hell
this.
yeah.
And he was like, yeah, let's do this shit. So they did, I think, a couple of sold-out dates before all this shit went down, and then just recently they did that a live broadcast, and there were cameos by various other artists and shit like that, like kind of cool. Wasn't Henry Rollins in it?
Okay.
It's
Came
like
through.
I didn't get a chance to see it. I saw
was
a little clip.
Yeah, I saw a little clip. I didn't see the one that Henry Rollins was in, but I don't know if it was like skits or what the fuck. But
Wow.
yeah,
That's cool.
It seems really neat, but
It's cool. I mean, those things aren't necessarily made to be recorded, which is, I think, the coolest thing you can kind of do with that streaming stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this really is a show. and you have missed it.
Yeah.
It will not be on YouTube. It will not be everywhere. And eventually, if people like get used to that, maybe that can be a real thing. Maybe that is kind of like going to the movies.
Also, if you ask for, if you ask a ticket price and you're capable of producing something that's like network television quality broadcast, a high quality broadcast, unlike all the other stuff that's streaming, if you could do that consistently, like people will be a lot more apt to do it. And also if you made it available, like when you rent something digitally, you got it for like 2 days or something like
That'd
that.
Be tight.
Like maybe like you could rewatch it for a limited amount of time, which that would be really cool.
Or if you actually paid, you actually do get it.
Yeah.
Let's say you paid the $15. It's like, okay, well, you get it. You can't put it online, but you can have it. Be in a box or something.
Or you pay a subscription to
Some
a
sort of-
venue, a digital venue.
Right. I'm assuming that's what they're trying to do, right? They're like trying to figure out some way. We have to figure out a way to get people off of the 4 or 5 websites that everybody's on all the time.
And that's literally where the quality stuff comes in. I've been watching, Kev on Stage, who's he's basically a Christian comedian, but he has
Kev on Stage.
Kev on Stage.
He's great.
But he does a lot of he brings in a
Voiceover.
lot of other comedians on his platform that are not, Christian at all. Like he has a nice mix of both. And they're really hilarious. I actually like them. But he's putting together an app because he's been putting these shows called the Keep Your Distance comedy specials. He's been putting these up on YouTube, and like people buy tickets to watch them, and then you get like a 48-hour link or something like that, and so people can watch them over and all that.
That's what I'm
stuff.
talking about. Yeah,
exactly, just like that. And so now he's putting, and I've been wanting to watch these, but I just. For whatever reason, I just didn't get them. But now he's putting these apps, he's putting this app together, put all these shows together of really, quality content plus like other types of TV shows and everything. And he's doing that all together. And I'm ready to do it.
Yeah, it's tight.
Whenever that's happening, I'm putting money in on
It's
that.
like Battle Rap was doing that too. They were just making an app.
They're making apps.
So you can pay in almost like
Pay-per-view.
Battle Rap should have been done this. They should have been trying to be more like UFC.
Well, they
right?
were.
You have a person and another person.
Well, I mean,
you
it
know,
was
and,
it was just it's surprising. You watching Battle Rap, you're like, how the fuck does this work? Like, how is it that you only have 2 mics on stage or none?
Yeah.
And then there's people on stage and there's people off the stage, and these cats are literally just like blowing their voices out at each other for like 3 hours or however long.
Battle rap
Battle
shows.
rap.
I've done sound at a couple of them.
Right.
And there was one, usually I just set up like a bunch of mics and just keep them all at the same volume.
You just
and
leave
just
'em up
be like, yo, man, like you just all got to work with your voices, but they're all set exactly the same.
Yeah.
But one show, they didn't want to do that. And I was like, okay, well, let me see what I can do
Well,
here.
what did they want to do?
They wanted to not have handheld mics, and I was like,
at all.
Oh, yeah.
At all.
okay, yeah. So I was like, they still want to hear. So basically, what I had to do is like do it like I was almost micing a play or something. I did condenser mics, and then they were like, I was like, yeah, I'm not
Like
gonna,
overheads, essentially.
yeah, mounted. I had them mounted where like the no monitors. But I
Okay,
had them
right,
mounted
because it would feed back.
Yeah, but it's going to front of house.
Yeah.
And then because they wanted, but the deal is nobody at a rap battle show knows how to shut the fuck up and be quiet, which
yeah,
is what
it's
I
not-
was
yeah,
trying.
it's not quiet.
I was trying to tell them that before it happened. They're like, "Oh, well, can you turn it up more?" It's like, dude, people were yelling at me, going, "I can't hear them." I was like,
Well, they don't want microphones.
"They don't want microphones. That's
They don't
not
want
my
microphones.
fucking problem."
And most
man.
of them don't want microphones. They use like the wireless mics, which are okay, but like using a handheld
like
is
a
weird.
lavalier.
I've seen
well,
lapels.
they didn't even have that.
Yeah.
This is low budget. This is not
low
They
budget,
didn't
man.
show up prepared at all. And also, it didn't matter because every like 2 minutes, a different person would get up on stage and leave and all that. And that would be even worse if they're passing them off lapel mics, just like
God.
the whole time. It'd be terrible.
Dude, I didn't understand that shit at all. It was. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I love watching those because they keep some of them are it's clear they're about to be rappers, musicians. Like I'm gonna figure out how to make a record and blah blah blah. And then some of them are like heading in a whole nother direction. It's almost like shtick.
Yeah.
You know, I saw a
because-
guy do like a magic trick during one of his. He pulled something. You know, he pulled something out of his shirt.
me.
He pulled like a playing
scarf
card
or
out
something?
that had something to do with whatever rhyme he was saying.
I
You
mean,
know,
but-
yeah, props. Yeah,
That
props.
that is worse than a prop comic because that means he's not. I mean,
Yeah.
is this like?
It was a
He's
magic
not
trick.
Is it supposed to be free? Is
No,
battle
no,
rap
no, no,
supposed to be
no,
freestyle?
no.
Or is it like roast battle where you come with jokes written?
It's
Is
both.
that-
Punchlines.
Punchline-
You
yeah,
need
yeah.
punchlines. But if you add the prop, if you do both and you do it right, like Loaded Lux.
Yeah.
Loaded Lux, like didn't he
Yeah, shtick.
he came in like in a casket or something?
Yeah.
And then like he came, and then he got out the
Whoa.
casket and then turned into like the preacher.
Yeah.
And then he was
Well,
wearing,
that's
and he was
like
wearing a
Alice
suit.
Cooper or something like that.
Yeah.
Where it's theatrics.
And he hasn't really been able to come back to that, by the
He
way. He has
can't.
come back from that
No.
because it was such
he went.
on
He
a,
jumped the shark.
he jumped the shark and he crushed this cat. The dude that he went against, he crushed him. That battle will go down in history. But no one has come to that point and no one has gotten past it because the art didn't evolve either.
It didn't.
The way with they do the stages and everything.
I was
else
going to
and
say
the
that. I would
sound.
say the gear didn't evolve because like they're headed in this direction that kind of feels like the WWE or something.
Right.
Right. You know, you
Yeah.
have a character and you have your fans. You have your intro song. You have your thing that you do at the beginning.
Yeah.
You got your
You got your crew.
catchphrase.
You got your crew behind
Yeah,
you.
your crew's behind you. They're all dressed like you.
You know,
and-
they can't. You have to instruct your crew. That's another thing because your crew will let you. They'll let you die out here because they'll know sometimes how they'll be around for all your practice sessions and stuff, and they'll memorize everything that you said.
Yeah.
So when you start doing the shit in front of everybody, then like if they see your friend saying the words that you're saying, you're done. You're
It doesn't
done.
look right.
They doesn't look right. It's like no, they can't know what you're about to say.
Right.
It needs to be fresh.
Yeah.
Everything needs to be off the. But
That's
it's
true.
Not.
It's not. It's not because in battle rap you prepare for your opponent. You know, like that's who you're going to go against. You've seen
You Google them.
Yeah, you've
and,
seen
know,
them
you
before.
You
look
find
at
out-
what his mom looks
You
like.
try to
family
go to their
shit.
hometown and dig up some dirt. You know,
Man,
like
His
When
real
they-
name's Clarence.
oh my god,
Yo.
and he has a great parents. Did you know that?
Yo, when they talk shit about their dad, which is like in everyone like your father was never around.
Oh man,
Oh, he didn't tell you how to be a man.
about a teach.
all that kind of shit. You couldn't pay for college. You know, they always like say some just fucked up shit about the dads.
Dude.
Dad's a deadbeat.
Yeah, that one's not even like
Yeah.
at this point. Most of them in New York. So, anyways,
Hey.
speaking of that though, so we just went off on a whole battle rap tangent.
We're talking about Busta Rhymes.
Busta Rhymes, though, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Busta Rhymes, goddamn, this dude has done a rollout for him not having a record out for 12 years. I think he said he's been making this album for 11 years or something. ELE2. He has put out almost a video for every song, if not a full production of a video. Then he's got like a lyric video or something. But he's been putting out videos like crazy, and his interviews have been in fucking depth. Like I feel like that when people leave, when they come back and they give interviews, he's been giving up stories that I think he's never told. Really heavy personal stories, and like really dropping a shit ton of gems. And the music has been phenomenal. The Kendrick Lamar record that he did is just stupid. The Anderson .Paak one is ridiculous.
Were you gonna play something? Because I was gonna play something from this record.
Yeah, please. Well, we can play whenever, but yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we mentioned that. Oh, and also because we had a question from someone about that.
Yeah, talking about the Belle Biv DeVoe.
Oh, the Belle Biv DeVoe.
That one is to me the most interesting one. It's Busta Rhymes featuring Belle Biv DeVoe, which is a new thing people are doing when you have a really high profile sample, you'll just say it's featuring the artist that was in the sample.
Well, they might have actually come and recut some stuff because they can get more money that way if you re-record it. A la like Taylor Swift, who's about to record her whole catalog or something like that.
Yeah,
but yeah. So
I'm playing this right now, James. If give some volume. I got you. Come on. And this is like the normal sample from Poison that everybody knows.
Yeah.
And then Busta Rhymes he makes his rhymes fit the drums. And it goes, it's like stop time, almost like a big band record.
Yeah.
When it goes through. And I was like, oh, this is so creative and cool. Check it out.
Come on. Look ahead, see they coming in trick. back in the spot to make them wild again, bitch.
God,
Busta
so
Rhymes,
gross.
the goddamn snitch. The cannon about to blow. Let them niggas know. Quick shit. Oh, God, no. The nigga gon' flip. Spit. Smash. A nigga face kick. A hole on top. Your fucking head. Bang.
Like a big band chart.
Like newlywed. Damn. Now is the time. Let me hear you say, ho, ho. Hands up because I say so. Turn full. My niggas, let's go. Now don't you see how we got them? We here to get dough. Oh, shit. You better get with us. Black. Oh, shit, my niggas. Hey, you know the way we do it? The conglomerate. It's coming and we about to run through it.
So
That's dumb.
super dope. That's
great.
And I would say he's been talking about how he's like really comfortable in the studio, and like that kind of track right there. I mean, that sounds like something that he has definitely been sitting on,
Massaging
like,
it
for the right time. That's the thing. And he talks about that shit a lot. His interviews have been so great. So I definitely highly recommend for everybody to check out.
Agreed.
Especially the Drink Champ ones are like 4 hours long.
That one's really good.
Yo,
And
can we stay on new hip hop real quick? 'Cause
Yeah.
I got a prediction.
one more interview, Busta Rhymes interview, is back when Ice-T had a podcast that didn't last very long, but it was awesome. He does an interview with Busta Rhymes, and that's one of the greatest Busta Rhymes interviews I've ever heard.
Really? With Ice-T?
Yeah, because he's fanboying against Ice-T. He walks because
yeah.
like you hear Busta Rhymes, he goes like, "Listen, y'all, I got to tell y'all about this house that I'm in right now. This is Ice-T's house," and his mind is blown by. Could you imagine what Ice-T's house must be like for Busta Rhymes to be going crazy about hanging out with Ice-T? That was really good.
That's mad humble shit. And also real quick, we have a question from our guy Robert D, who has written in before, and he says, "Volume 1 sounds good, well done. Question for you to think on: Mr. Bungle and Busta Rhymes dropped albums on the same day after substantial breaks. What do you think are the best examples of bands releasing an album after a 10-year plus hiatus at equal or higher quality to their old releases? D'Angelo Tribe, HUM, I don't know who that is, are a few examples. I don't know who that is. Are a few examples that come to mind. Thanks, Rob. So,
Aerosmith. I don't think they went off that long, but there was a long time where they like were complete fucking absolute garbage.
Yeah,
and like Joe Perry wasn't even in the band.
That's right.
And then he came back, and then when they restarted again,
it's like 85.
Well, yeah, they
like
did
that.
the Run DMC thing, and then came out with a couple albums after that, Pump and Permanent Vacation.
Yeah,
were like all hit makers.
God damn, didn't undo
That one came back.
Dude looked like a lady.
Yeah. Those were big records.
That's the whole
Sade.
Love in an Elevator.
Sade, they've taken
But Sade only releases an album
a decade.
But that's the only thing. That's like if she released a bunch of stuff close together and then took a break, but it's like everything is far apart. It's like Tool or something like that, where they only release an album once a decade.
Yeah,
Tool's
I'd say who else lasted? Charlie Wilson. I mean, he had a whole career in the 70s, and then came all the way back with Snoop Dogg, and now Charlie Wilson is a mainstay.
That's a good one, yeah.
in
Charlie,
pop music for a voice that you want on your records. I mean, when was the Gap Band's like heyday?
it was the early 80s.
Yeah, early 80s, and he is back heavy. He was in a Justin Timberlake song. He was back in Snoop Dogg albums.
I got a
it's
couple.
true.
King Crimson went away from like 73 or 74 till 1980.
Yeah, 1980.
And like,
Yeah.
it's there's great material after that.
Yeah.
Also, one that came back. It's another one that came back that didn't do as well. Arguably, I was just thinking of. Fuck! It just slipped out of my head here. Shit. Definitely not Guns N' Roses. Oh, Miles Davis.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
He kind
Miles
of didn't
Davis
stop,
left.
did he? I guess
5
he did
years.
leave.
He
did leave.
He
Yeah,
5
left
years.
for like 5 years. He didn't even leave his house.
Yeah, 5 years. That was a big one.
Yeah, it's a big comeback.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one because there's one on the like. I want to say, Van Halen is almost a good example just because of how they went from singer to singer, and they almost had to kind of not really start over. But when they went back in 2007 with David Lee Roth, I mean, that was basically kind of a restart right there.
That's true.
Because
Yeah,
they
that's a
basically
different
were,
band.
But it
'cause-
still wasn't a really long time, and that happened over and over and over.
I mean,
again.
he
That
had
was
been-
just business
That's
as
He-
usual. For
but
Van
he had
Halen.
been out of the band for. I mean, he did
Oh,
those
yeah.
two songs in '96, but he was out of the band in '84. Came back in 2007, and then they went
yeah,
back,
you're right,
and then basically went on tour for the rest of the time and did one album that was that to the people. I like that record a lot, the Different Kind of Truth, but it didn't do that well.
Right.
So, that's one right there that I can think of off the top.
Steely Dan.
Steely Dan, 20-year gap. And they came back in one album of the year.
Album of the year.
They won album of the year.
That's actually how I learned about them, because Beck was up for album of the year too, and there was a hip hop album. I had no idea.
Who are these old guys that won?
Yeah, I was like,
Oh my God.
I was
Here
like,
comes-
who is that? And I was like, that's so fucking lame.
Oh,
You're like,
and
who the
he's-
fuck is Steely Dan? I never even heard of that guy.
Here comes-
I listened to a track, and then I listened to one. Like
Who
a year
gave
later.
these guys a break?
And not only that, they did not give a fuck that night. When they got up on stage and won, they were just like, thank you. It's been about 20 years. Thanks, Walter. You want to say anything?
I was
It was less than a minute. It was less than a minute. Their acceptance speech.
It was shocking because it was like all these other great bands that I followed all the time, and then Steely Dan, and I was like,
Here comes
what?
in the Dan with the steel.
Man,
Yeah.
I wonder who was.
True that.
The competition was heavy that
It
year.
definitely
It
was.
was really dope. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, who is this guy?
And those were the
thought
two.
it was a dude. Just one
So many
dude.
people I knew
Who's
thought he
this
was one
Dan?
dude. Yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
Dan?
And D'Angelo and Steely Dan came out on the same day that year.
I have one artist that has a bigger gap than that, Son House. I've been listening to a lot of old blues. He played.
When did he come out again?
He didn't play. He played his music. He put out an album. It didn't do well. He didn't play again for 32 years.
Sunhouse, really?
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's one of those blues people in the 60s.
Yeah,
those
one of
kids
them.
were like found.
Oh, like Sugar Man or
found it
something
back,
like that
yeah.
too.
Yeah, yeah.
Did anybody go to prison for an extended period of time and then restarted their music career again successfully?
Oh, there's somebody.
I know there has to be someone.
DeBarge, right? El DeBarge?
El DeBarge, he left for a few years. It wasn't that long, though.
Were there any blues guys like way back maybe?
I know people were going to jail. I don't remember. Like the ones that kept going, they just kept going.
Right.
You
I feel
know,
like we're missing one cat.
Like somebody
Cisco?
that
James Brown went to jail for
he did,
3
but he
years.
never stopped putting out albums and anything.
Yeah, he
How
had-
about Jerry
yeah.
Lee Lewis?
Yeah.
Did he go to jail
He
for
went to
a
jail
long
for a little
time?
bit. He-
or
not-
just like a year?
Not that long.
Yeah.
Chuck Berry went for a little while.
Oh yeah, Chuck
Indi-
Berry.
you
I was.
know.
I think
Disgusting,
I
man.
thought of another one. Janet Jackson. You know, Janet Jackson had big
She
hits,
did have a
and then she had
hiatus.
quite the hiatus, and then
What
came
about-
back again.
What about
Did Madonna ever
Mystical?
take?
No, not
Did
really.
Madonna ever take an
his career never
extended
came
period
back.
of time
We've wanted her to.
where she did? Well, she started doing all that acting shit, and I can't
became
remember if
British.
she stopped doing. Yeah, when she
Yeah.
became British, didn't she stop releasing albums for a period of time?
Like
and
after
came out-
Evita,
Yeah, she it was less consistent. It was after like
Uh,
the music album and stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
In the 2000s,
Music.
it was not as consistent.
Yeah.
But nah, we've never.
Nah,
she's
I'm
never
not giving- I'm
taken.
not giving her that.
She's never taken like a break long enough.
Not for me.
For me.
Not for my taste neither.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of. Yeah, I feel like there's somebody else that we're missing. But yeah, because he already mentioned D'Angelo. I mean, Tribe when they came back.
That
I
was
mean, that was
big.
strong as fuck.
That was mad strong.
That was a strong as fuck album. There's some people that just can't really. It's
And
tough
they
for them
came-
to
They
do.
came back with Busta Rhymes in the live band.
Mhm.
They're just like, Fife passed. They're just like, we can't replace Fife.
Yeah.
So
I got
Busta
one.
Rhymes
I got
is in the
one
band
more.
now.
Pat Martino.
Jazzin'?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He had a brain aneurysm and
Yeah.
like had to relearn how to do everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Would
Yeah.
you count Brian Wilson's Smile?
No.
No?
Nope.
He
Nope.
he was
that
still
was an
writing.
album. That was an album that wasn't finished. That he finished in the his original vision.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like to me. I treat that as like a Beatles remix or something like that.
Hornsby maybe.
That's actually, you know what? That's kind of what it would be like. Is if you went like if the Beatles
Oh, Free as a
had,
Bird.
like no, not like that. Imagine the Beatles released Let It Be, but you found out like instead of the Phil Spector stuff, they had a bunch of extra tracks that they wanted to do and never got to do.
Right.
So the remaining Beatles went back and like overdubbed new parts and shit.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it was. Now that Smile album, I think, is a really cool thing. If you listen to Smiley Smile, the original one, have that in context with what was actually
Right.
released.
Yeah.
Which was what what did come out, what they could salvage and re-record at their own studio.
Mm-hmm.
So they're both great, but I don't consider that because that's not. Also, the Beach Boys stopped being a band.
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, you can say they went away because they didn't make any new material, and then they came out with Kokomo.
Yeah,
I was going
That
to
was
bring up
the-
that's what I was
Kokomo.
gonna say too. Yeah, Full House. I was gonna bring up Full House.
You know, that was a whole.
We're not going to
and
not
the-
talk
and the-
about Kokomo.
And then the Eagles, too.
The
Right.
Eagles.
Didn't they take a long gap? And
Yeah,
then
but
they came out
did
with
they
Hell?
do a greatest hits
Nah,
thing?
I don't
Pretty
think
much.
I don't
They
think the
did
career came back either.
No, they did an Eagles Unplugged when
Yeah.
all
Oh, yeah,
of
no,
all
Hell
the classic
Freezes
rock
Over.
people were.
Yeah, no, they
you
came
know.
back. They came back strong. Yeah, they. I mean, they.
Totally.
I guess that's just my shit. I didn't think that
They
that
had-
record had impact.
The record
Sold
didn't
a
have
lot.
impact, but as far as them going back on tour,
Oh,
they
yeah, of course.
became the highest
Yeah.
grossing band whenever they toured.
Yeah.
They were just like, and I mean, man, doing just the same song
For real, doing the
every
same
time.
songs. I was saying Bruce Hornsby, like he had his heyday, and like he's had a big resurgence. Like he keeps putting an album out every year now.
Man, Bruce
He's back.
Hornsby, God, his Questlove Supreme interview is excellent. By the way,
He's
check
cool.
that out.
He's cool, man.
He seems like he'd be cool. You work with Bruce Hornsby?
I've hung out. I've never worked with him yet.
All right, cool.
Not yet, man. It's gonna happen.
All right, what else?
Manifest.
What else you got, Gabe?
All right. I've been excited. I've been listening to a lot of new hip hop lately, and I think now I'm calling it now, huh?
like new metal. Sorry, go ahead. Carry on.
Yeah, and you.
New, yeah,
New hip-hop.
New hip hop, yeah.
You with an
New.
umlaut.
It's the new way to say neo. It's neo hip hop.
New.
Neo hip hop.
New.
The baby.
Yeah, exactly.
baby.
Well, there's some stuff coming out. I got a prediction that I feel like within the next 5 years, I think the trap might be over.
We'll see, right? I feel like
I'm just
like
saying-
people say that every couple years.
I'm saying,
trap.
The trap.
Talking about the
The
sprinkler
trap
hi-hats.
music. The trap music is going to be done.
I think. Well, I think it might. I mean, just the way hip hop is, it evolves as fast as technology, and it kind of just it moves from the backpacker stuff to the club banger to the crunk to trap and then what have yous and everything. But there's been some new stuff coming out, and I just think it's moving in that direction.
Kind of sounds more throwback, if anything.
Kinda
But the youngest of the hip hop shit really still sounds like trap. It just sounds like people singing.
Yeah.
Like the rappers are just do way more singing than they used to.
A new album came out. First of all, I want to talk about The Alchemist, and he's had an awesome year.
Yeah,
putting
Alchemist
out
is
albums.
definitely.
He just
He
came out.
stays in his kind of '90s bag too. It's like a freshened up version of boom bap.
Yeah,
is
no,
what
he
he does.
He does a lot. I mean, he had 3 pretty good. I mean, Alfredo was great.
Yeah,
Freddie Gibbs is killing it right now, pretty
he's
much.
he's on doing a lot of features and stuff too, and he's been crushing it.
He just put out a song with Big Sean.
Someone, as far as just videos, by the way,
he makes the best videos.
Freddie, I think, is definitely the cat to watch because it just is funny. He's funny
he's a
without
showman.
Him and Tyler make the best videos.
They make the best videos.
He's a
right
showman, but I want to also talk about the Griselda records.
Now. Please
Oh,
talk
yeah,
about
the
Griselda.
Griselda,
We're
yeah.
finally we're in.
All right. So, Alchemist did some beats for those guys too here and there, but by the way, they're from. I've been watching interviews with those guys, been listening to music a lot.
Yeah.
And if y'all didn't know out there, like the main guys are West Side Gun, Conway the Machine, and Benny the Butcher.
Yep.
Benny the Butcher's my favorite for sure.
These guys have been killing it, super hard. They have no intentions on getting on the radio because they've been asked like, "Wow." I think they've been on some radio stuff, but not that much, and because this shit is just.
Yeah, I mean they were indie. They're from Buffalo, which is not. It's not. You don't normally see a lot of hip hop coming straight out of Buffalo and represent Buffalo.
Yeah, we know who's from Buffalo. We know
out of Buffalo.
we know who out of straight out of Buffalo.
Before you say that,
Yeah.
I want to say this: when I was watching when I was watching them and I was watching the interview, I was listening to them talk, and the way they talked, it reminded me of some sort of accent. And it wasn't until they said Buffalo, I was like, oh. They sound like Rick James in his
Rick
band.
James.
Yep. Did
Yeah.
they say cockroaches?
Yeah. And also, they did get signed. I mean, they got signed to Shady, which is about as big as you can be.
Yeah, that's
they
what I was
got
about-
signed to Eminem's label,
And they
but they
passed
never
up.
had the radio hits or anything.
Well,
like
the
that,
best thing about Shady is that I think that Eminem, because they've talked to Eminem a lot about the Slaughterhouse thing, and I think he finally
Another hip-hop
realized
group.
that was another rap supergroup that was on Shady, but that was like something that Eminem seemed to have really high expectations for, and I think that the fans did as well. And people have questioned him about why that group did not like cross over. Why didn't they get bigger? Da da da. And he has said like, I'm not sure. Da, da, da. He won't give the real answer, which is he got way too involved with them. It was the problem. He tried to like oversee every project and executive produce everything, and it was too much. He didn't need to be involved in everything, and luckily with Shady, I think this time in Griselda, he decided that he's going to let them run their movement, and that's why this thing has making so much of
4 years strong. Yeah, really.
Yeah, that's why I think it's happening.
Yeah, so West Side Gun, Benny the Butcher, Conway the Machine. Conway the Machine and West Side Gun are brothers, and their cousin is Benny the Butcher. I kept on seeing Benny the Butcher pop up on a bunch of features. I went to go check some stuff out. But anyways, so they've been doing on the mixtape circuit for like, I guess the past like 8 years, something like that. Just really pushing stuff, and they got the okay from Shady, Jay-Z. Jay-Z told Benny the Butcher not to be on the cover of XXL. He was like, just don't do it, man.
Wow.
You'll thank me later. He said we didn't do it. And all types of stuff. Anyways, so Conway the Machine came out with an album September 11th this year. And here's a song with the three of them on it, Conway, Benny, and West Side Gun. So it's called Spurs 3. You got me turned up? Okay, cool. Let's do this.
Yeah, it works.
This mix is awesome. One of the best beats I've heard in a while.
Is it Alchemist beat?
No, this is Beat Butcher.
This is what the Richmond hip hop kind of sounds like right now too. Like Mike Melian's beats are slow like this.
I had an outstanding warrant for a short. Turned myself in, rocking Louis and all my jewelry. I wore the court. Cop pulled me over in my imported Porsche. She said this car must be $100K. I said you 40 short. My niggas dropping bodies for the sport. Violators got tragedy written all over it like the war.
I heard this shit the other day and I was like,
this beat is crazy.
That's funky.
The beat is crazy. I really feel like
That's funky.
I mean, what do you think? These guys might be the new dudes. I think this might be the deaths of the trap.
Wait,
That part I don't agree with.
How old are these guys?
They're the 30s, right?
They're in their 30s, yeah. They're like, I mean,
That's a little old for being the new thing.
Well, you would think so, but like I feel like with the internet, everything stays. You know, when you talk about the death, the trap, I don't think that's going to happen because there's just going to be a trap section of the internet forever.
Yeah.
Is what I think. You know,
Good point.
there'll just be younger rappers that stick with the sound because eventually that sound will feel like a throwback too.
I feel like
yeah. Well, I think different types of hip hop just get put into like the old school shit so quick because even shit from 2005, sounds
that's true.
Old. Sounds old.
It just depends, you know, because Drake he gets to kind of do the same thing over and over again, and it's kind of artist by artist.
Yeah,
you know, like if you're established enough, you can kind of just be this sound for a while and then be that sound for a while. Because like Drake will get whoever the new sound is that pops up every couple years, they just end up doing a song with Drake.
Yeah, he'll hop on their sound.
Or hop on their whatever their big song is.
Yeah,
you know?
And then all of a sudden it makes it more exciting to hear them again, and then you wonder, are they going to go in this direction for their record or whatever?
Well, they've been going in the different direction too in terms of who they're associated with.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's been like Pusha T and Freddie Gibbs, Alchemist, all those dudes.
rapping.
Yeah, no. So and like they're all kind of giving. I mean, they're just all giving these guys the okay. Like these are the. What do y'all think? I think these are like the next guys.
Well, I mean, they definitely. I've definitely kept up with the fact that they really have made an imprint on. I think the sound, the New York sound or whatever. I think that's what it is. That seemed to not be evolving in a certain way. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but
So it just wasn't popular.
It did. Well, I mean, it lost popularity, but it seemed like that there was also kind of a standstill moment with New York.
Well, Atlanta was coming through with the shit.
Atlanta, I mean, a lot of different coasts started coming in.
Lots of coasts, yeah.
You know, the Midwest, you know, all of that.
Especially the West Coast. I mean, I feel like the New York
Detroit
identity definitely became a lot more nebulous, you know, because Designer, he's from New York, you know, but you hear that and you go like, maybe this guy's from Texas. You know, you hear Panda, it doesn't sound like a song from New York. You know, you hear Pop Smoke's music, you go like, that sounds like one of those beats from those London rappers.
Right.
You know, this sounds
Yeah.
like some London hip hop. And, you know, he was from New York. So, like, and, you know, Nicki Minaj, she's from New York. And her music is kind of, like, all over the place, too.
Yeah.
So New York definitely became more about what was popular and less about keeping a regional sound.
Right.
And I feel like this is kind of a take back to a regional, because they're upstate New York.
Upstate,
you know,
it's
a regional
Buffalo.
New York sound, you know.
Yeah, and yeah, I agree with that. I don't know if they're going to be like the next guys, because I'm not sure if they're trying to be on that on that level where they're
think they
trying
are.
to. Oh, I mean, I don't
don't think so?
Well, I mean, I'm saying as far as like really crossing over in like a almost too visible kind of way.
No,
It's a slow burn.
You know what I mean?
They definitely have no concern with being on the radio.
That's what I mean.
But he was talking about, because like I saw him in an interview. He was talking about it. They're like, what, you know, what's with that? And he's like, look, people don't listen to the radio anymore.
Right, just
That's
not,
what he said. He's like, people will go and get our music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People go
there you
get the
go.
music they want.
Yeah, people get the
That's
music
about
they
it.
want
That's
because
true.
they're playing music off their phone. It's not you aren't all the way set to the radio to find a new song anymore.
100%. I think when you change your actual where you want to pay attention to where you to where the music is coming from
Yeah.
in a different way. Like for instance, subscriptions. Like most of the time, Reggie, you were checking out music on YouTube.
Yeah.
For the most part, I like to subscribe to Tidal, but I started thinking about satellite radio here and there. Like I'm like, man, satellite radio, you get a whole bunch of different music from people that you do not hear on the radio at all.
That's true.
You know, like Shady 45. When I used to listen to Sirius, I loved that shit because there was so much fucking hip hop that you would not hear on the radio. You're just not going to hear just radio friendly shit all the time.
Right.
And that's what I
Ad
love.
selling music.
And you know,
And people are going to pay for it.
you know who's like the most in this grand scheme of things and how the direction things are going? You know who's right in the middle of all this shit and probably the most sought out producer right now is fucking Madlib.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Because
You know?
his sound is that 90s. I don't even want to call it 90s. His sound and what he was doing with Stone's Throw and any of those artists that were making beats that were anywhere in that catalog, that is totally in style.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's not, I don't want to call it a trend because it's been happening the whole time.
That
You know, it just wasn't on the radio.
Yeah. Dirtier sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, now the way streaming is, that doesn't matter as much anymore
Nope.
to get the radio hit.
You
They're
get what you
like,
want. And everybody listening on earbuds or their phone anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of the stuff that, you know, people used to spend $2 million making their record, and then you hear most of your fans are listening to it on laptop speakers.
Mm-hmm.
You can be like, well, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't- well, yeah, he's not worried about radio plays. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm worried about streams, man.
Yeah.
For real.
I worry about my
Yeah.
streams and everything. He's like,
Yeah.
that's what we're killing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean,
so-
they're out here too. I feel like it's a good example of people who have a lot of backing staying and doing something cool. It's not like a bunch of old people were in charge of how they did things.
Right.
Because they are back to like any major group. I mean, they are signed to Shady and they're signed to like Rock Nation management. Like, you know, Jay-Z
Right.
is their cousin's brother and this and that.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
They're not
involved.
they're not underground.
No.
But something about how they've released stuff made them feel not corny coming out.
Well,
you know
it's
what I mean?
It's
Yeah.
because everyone that respected them respected how they sounded and was like,
And they were
I do
already
not-
doing it, you
Yeah,
know?
they were like, we don't want to fuck with it. Like, please do not change what y'all are doing. Keep this energy going because it's the energy that was just necessary. And I think it's the same thing with Eminem. You know, he just, I don't know. I don't think he's ever had the pulse of what people want to hear. You know what I
he's
mean?
just so good. He's just been doing. He's
been-
in a bubble.
He's just been doing what he's been doing.
Yeah.
He can't put that on other people and just go, this is going to happen. You could do it like this,
Right.
too. Get a girl on your song and get a
just
giant
Bon
hook.
Jovi beat.
Yeah, get a hook.
Bon Jovi beat and a white girl.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
Yeah,
it.
here, we're just going to do living on a prayer, living on a prayer, living on a prayer. Like, it's just going to do that over and over. And then we're going to get a girl to sing it.
Yep.
And then you're going to rap in the middle of it.
Yep.
The girl's going to do the bridge.
Yep.
It's going to stop. And then the chords are going to play. And then it's going to all come back. And then it's going to be 3 minutes.
Totally.
And it's going to be great.
Because he was doing that to his other artists too. Because like Eminem, he has the ability to get away with some stuff musically because he just got so many fans that like actual artists can't really do what he does.
And his
you can't.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, you can't just give any. You couldn't give Griselda one of those fucking organ grinder carnival beats like like you couldn't give them some shit like that to rap over. You know, they'd be like, "What the fuck is this?" You know,
for Eminem to try to do a pop or for Eminem to do a pop record, it's really kind of beneath him in a way because his skill is so great that like for him to do something like that, it's almost dumbing himself down, and it works. He will do it because it's like it's going to sell, it's going to work. I know how to, but for him, that really works. You can't put that on other people, and they're letting Griselda do their own thing and just be themselves and just market to their people, and that's what's
congratulations to them.
Yeah,
I mean, they out here killing it.
Griselda, anti-little people.
Yeah,
there ain't no little people on there.
Yeah, no, they're crushing it. They're crushing it. No littles, ain't no littles,
ain't no little peoples on there.
Mm-mm.
Okay, and then just one more thing is the new album came out a couple weeks ago. The Alchemist put out The Food Villain. Have y'all heard this yet?
I haven't.
Is MF Doom on this?
He's not on it.
I mean,
Wow.
okay, Alchemist has done Alfredo, and now he's putting out an album called The Food Villain. And MF Doom is not part of any of this?
He's not on any of it.
You gotta be getting salty.
That beat did sound like an MF Doom kind of beat, though.
I was
that
saying,
other one.
Alfredo has a bunch of songs on it that kind of sound like Mad Villain beats.
Oh yeah,
but they're dope though.
No, this one's even closer to probably the Mad Villain. Here's the thing, though. I listened to the record, and it's a short one. It's only like a half an hour, but it's good. But
just as long as Volume 1 by the Hustle Season.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Plug.
Go ahead.
Now we can continue.
Shameless.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. But I guess it's like here's the concept, because it actually does have a concept. And basically, there's a bunch of samples from Action Bronson's Fuck That's Delicious. I guess Alchemist is on that show, and he's like...
Oh, he does the music for that, maybe? Like
he just kind of took samples from the show and then put beats under it, and then like... That's pretty much the album. And then like...
Wow.
And a lot of the samples about how much of a picky eater he is.
Oh, wow.
And that's literally the concept of the whole album.
Content.
Sounds like an album made for me.
Yeah, no, hey. I'll send it to you. It's good, though. I enjoyed it.
I'm about to make a food album myself.
Man, that's what...
It's about to happen.
Check it out, people. Conway the Machine's album's called... what's that called? Oh, From King to a God, The Food Villain by The Alchemist, and Burden of Proof by Benny the Butcher.
Ooh.
All the Griselda records.
Seriously.
Check them out if you like are interested in hip hop that people can fucking rap, and the beats are interesting knock.
No sprinklers.
Very few sprinklers.
Very few
sprinklers.
No sprinklers, no little people, none of that. You might see a Big Sean, but that's about it.
A Big Sean. All right.
Speaking of a Sean, dude.
Oh.
We just
Bum, 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 bum.
mad big ups to Sean Connery.
The God, Sean Connery.
Sean the God. A
Gone
man
too
of
soon.
men.
Wow.
He's the original James Bond and everything else, man. He was Indiana Jones's dad. Fucking one of the greatest.
Hunt for Red October.
Yeah, one of the greatest manly men that's ever walked the face of the earth.
I loved him in The Rock.
The Rock. And there's that movie
Outlander.
with Catherine
Highlander.
Zeta-Jones where he's a cat burglar.
Highlander.
Can't remember that movie, but anyway.
He was also in Zorloff.
What? Zorloft?
Get the fuck out of
no,
here,
it was like
Tony.
this
Get
fantasy
the fuck
thing.
out.
What? It wasn't very good.
What is it? Tell us about it.
League
it's
of
like a
Extraordinary Gentlemen.
1970s.
Tony, you
like,
chimed in for that one? That's what you chimed in for? That's fine. Whatever.
Well,
That's
listen,
cool.
Sean Connery was 92, which is fucking old.
It was mad old.
Long life for that man.
What movie you're talking about, Tony? I would need to know.
Yeah,
so
now we need to know.
1970s fantasy, kind of like a Barbarella
Oh, okay.
kind of thing.
Oh.
Like he's in space.
Sci-fi, sexy sci-fi.
Yeah, I think he was trying some new shit.
Woo!
You know, it wasn't.
He's trying to get his what was Captain Kirk on?
Yeah, then he was in Highlander.
Yeah, because he was rocking the
Oh, he was.
hairpiece,
Well,
too.
he was back. Yeah, that was back in the day where you could have gray hair and be balding, or have a shitty hairpiece like William Shatner,
Hairline
or
report.
Sean Connery, or
This is a serious hairline report.
or Burt Reynolds. But back then, that's just how men were.
It was
Look
cool.
at that show, that old show, Mannix. The reruns of that show, and it's like this. It's just a very hairy, like Armenian American dude that looks like somebody's dad, but he's this like crime fighting private detective type. He's like
Whoa.
Magnum PI, but he just looks like he doesn't look. He's not a heartthrob or anything. It's
Right,
not like
yeah.
you turn on some show now like
Back in the
But,
day,
yeah,
everybody
back in
was
the
wearing a hat.
Yeah, back in the day, everybody looked like John Wayne. They kind of
Yeah.
looked like dad bod type,
Man, and you
normal people.
I mean, you were looked at as a odd animal if you had the bald head. You were kind of like that was the thing.
Yeah.
And Sean Connery rocked that hairpiece. Yeah, I was about to say hairpiece or no in this movie with Sean Connery. Hairpiece or no?
Hairpiece. I think
It
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Had to be if it was his late 70s.
I think he went into like a sci-fi fantasy curve in his career. I think
Yeah.
took it away
Whoa.
from the James Bond thing.
Oh, okay.
Also,
okay.
you hit an age where you can like rock the bald.
Yeah, you
And
can
so,
rock
like
the
Telly
baldy.
Savalas had. Was
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
Was like a cue ball,
But
but
yeah.
like he killed it.
Yeah, I mean, if you own it, for sure. But he still was like an anomaly in that time because he was
Absolutely.
like he was the only cat.
Sean Connery also the king of the turtleneck, the king of like
Fuck yeah.
fighting people in turtlenecks.
That's just hot.
Yeah,
I
he's
am
like
thinking
karate
about
fighting
him in a
in
turtleneck
turtlenecks.
right now.
I love a turtleneck and a blazer.
Classic in a pipe.
That's him.
Sean Connery.
That's him.
Pipe,
That is
martini,
Mm.
turtleneck, blazer, killing it,
That's crazy. Sweating that out is ridiculous.
and karate kick somebody
Alcoholism,
in
domestic violence.
He's doing
Dude,
that while drinking drinks.
That unfortunately is one of the funniest fucking interviews I've ever
What,
seen.
the one who he's talking about is about how he just handles women
yeah.
in general.
Oh my god.
They tried to cancel Sean Connery while he had
that
dementia.
outfit. They
for
did
sure.
cancel him.
He's
Yeah.
92. He was almost 100 when he died. Like
No, that's
Yeah.
like
That
when,
man's-
that's like when they try to cancel Stan Lee. Like,
yeah, it's like
was too late.
That,
too
man's-
late.
That man's developmental years was like a century ago.
Yeah, you're not going
Like,
to interview
you
him
can't,
about it.
dude,
He was
come
like, yo,
on.
he was like, man, that was literally 70 years ago.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
70 years ago.
Yeah,
seriously.
man.
it's like, yeah, I happen to be one of those guys in the 60s that beat their wife or something like that. I was one of those guys. It was just one time.
yeah. He definitely did that one time.
He's like, you can't do that shit. He's like,
he was like, I didn't know when you're
I didn't know. We didn't know. We didn't know you couldn't do that.
I didn't know when you're better. Okay. I'm not going. What else do we have?
The election.
The election. All right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Historic.
Election.
God, they forgot.
It's a historic election. Historic. So many votes that have been counted and not counted at this point in time that we are airing. I believe it was 160 million that were that votes that were counted. Joe Biden is one of the most voted presidents. Was voted
the most.
on president.
The most.
Is the most
Yes.
in history, y'all. In history. So
It's the first time everyone was so stuck on their computer in a way that didn't even really want to be. That like you couldn't like you know
Say it.
you couldn't get away from it in a way like when we all just had our jobs and our lives we could all easily not talk about it ever
Totally.
and just move on with our day
100%.
but everyone's been talking about this election since June
yeah.
if not earlier, you know what I mean?
It was a little alarming personally because it just seemed like at the beginning of the coronavirus thing, it was election year, but it seemed like no one was talking about it.
Yeah, it
at
wasn't
all.
important.
It wasn't important, and then coronavirus hit, and then it became a little bit more important because just judging by the reaction of how the president was going to figure out what to do with this, and
he did nothing.
and
He
he
just tried to wait out the clock.
He didn't do anything. And then George Floyd, then that's when I think the actual was like, oh, we have to get on this campaign.
It's over.
Like, we need to really actually start doing something. But it never really, to me, it never really seemed to fully curl over, if you will, with the Trump presidency.
That's
if you will.
true.
Sorry, T-Bird presidency.
It's all good. I feel like, you know, now that it has happened, like we can all go back to doing all the shit you were always doing. You know what I mean? Because like I remember in 2016, you know, the very next day, it felt like there like a bomb was dropped in America.
Dude.
Like everyone was being so weird.
People were crying.
People
and
were
shit.
crying all the
People were
time.
crying.
All the
Yeah.
ladies I knew in my life were crying the next day.
And now even if it was fucked up, I feel like everyone just got much tougher skin. It got like way more real. And mad people just voted and they didn't say shit.
Yeah.
They're like, you know, we ain't about to be out here wearing funny hats and none of that shit. We about to fucking get this shit popping.
They kept Hillary away.
Yeah.
They
And
kept her out of plain sight the whole time, which I think was a really good idea.
It was.
She stayed out of the air. I mean, and she should.
She was at the pizza parlor, right?
I don't know. Did you?
Oh, the
She
kid, there's kids
started
in there.
she started the pizza parlor.
Yeah, she was running that thing the whole time.
She was asking everybody who needs hot sauce. You need hot
Who
sauce?
needs-
You
Yeah,
need hot
yeah.
sauce. I got
You
hot
need
sauce.
hot
We got
sauce?
pizza sauce. We got hot sauce.
Who needs adrenochrome with that hot
That's
sauce?
right. Who needs it? But now I feel like me and Tony did a man on the street thing the other day, and there was one lady who said the shit that I think that mattered the most. They were like, "Look, regardless of what happens in any of these fucking shits, you still got to be responsible for your own self and what you do with your day, and like what kind of person you want to be, and what kind of world you want to have around you." And it's like you can't just take it as an excuse to be your worst self. You know, whenever something is happening, bad or good, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I feel like overarching, everyone we ever talk about pretty much has the same shit to say about the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, they're just like, look, man, we just got to take care of this local shit, and we got to get these motherfucking old people out of here. That's all everybody said. They don't care who the fucking president was.
I tell you what,
know, in that way.
That was definitely the case for Richmond. I mean, I definitely felt that Richmond is paying more attention to local politics and everything
More
else.
than ever.
Everywhere else, not the case. Not so much. Doesn't really seem like that they really. I didn't see that much of a change.
who are we to say?
I'm
I
with
don't
you,
live.
right?
I don't
Who
live
am I
there.
to say?
That's what I'm saying.
Who am
I
I to
don't live
say?
I
there.
feel like everybody is way more engaged in general, for better or for worse. I don't think that's true that other cities weren't caring about the local
Listen,
elections.
I couldn't say. I couldn't tell you if I was president. I couldn't tell you if I was going to be better than Trump or not, because I'd be just as petty too. I'd be just as fucking petty. I'd be like, "What is this county doing? Did y'all vote for me? I didn't see y'all. there.
Yeah,
Did y'all come to my rally? I didn't see your faces. I'm going to remember faces.
I would-
One by one?
One by one.
Kelly, I would donate to that campaign. Just,
No, I
just
appreciate
to watch
it.
it.
I'm just saying, I just don't know how good I would be.
I donate too, but
I'll be
I'm not
looking
voting
at
for you.
every rally, just like a gig.
I don't know how good I would if I could, if I should.
Yeah, I tell you what.
I don't even know if I'm supposed to be here.
I don't even know. I took an Uber here. I did so many wrong things. I'm smoking in the car. Listen. I remembered if y'all were here. I remember. I remember.
your names and
I'm gonna-
faces.
Names and faces.
Me.
I'm gonna expose you. Post this picture. You dressed up as fucking Michael Jackson or
Yo,
something.
if I had that kind of money, if I had that kind of budget, I'd be petty. I'd be petty too. You know what I'm saying? But listen, we got
Petty
the right.
spaghetti.
I think we got the right guy. I think
Yeah.
we got the right person.
And
this
who
time.
cares, man? You still got to go. You still got to go and be your own fucking man or woman or like however you identify, regardless of who the fuck is the president.
And we still,
Dave.
and we still got to record a podcast. God damn it! So,
God damn it.
God damn it! We still got to record a podcast.
No
which
matter
we-
what happens, we're gonna be here
we
next
gonna
week.
be
folks.
up in this bitch.
We always gonna be here. God damn it! So I don't know what to tell you. Other
That's
than
it?
that, is that it for the show?
Oh, I don't know. I was just
Oh,
talking
we
about
got
that.
way
You
more
can talk
stuff.
about. We got more stuff.
Dude, we got Red Vein thing that we did.
Oh, yeah,
I just
Red
wanna
Vein.
talk about that.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about it.
Because Tony got us out there to this haunted house that was amazing out in Ashland, and
It was the shit.
it was about like a 25-minute walk
At
from
least.
start to finish through the whole thing.
25 minutes.
Yeah,
and there were several times in which you think it's over that really makes it.
Yeah,
You're like, oh,
you go
we're done.
outside, you think you're done. Yeah, and then you go right back into like a basement or some shit like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, best way I think to describe it is that the best way to describe it, I think, is that you get dropped into about 8 or 9 horror movies in a row. Hold on. You get dropped into like 8 or 9 horror movies straight, you know. You walk through at first and it's like a creepy warehouse looking place, and you go like, what's that about? Then you go a creepy cornfield,
Man.
then the
Yeah.
creepy cult area,
That shit
creepy
looks so
church
scary,
area,
y'all.
People on
creepy
stilts.
greenhouse,
Creepy people
Creepy
in
doctors.
mass on stilts, jumping out,
running around too.
and
She
running
was-
around.
She was mad athletic on those stilts. I was more scared. I was like, oh shit, you can like run in them junks.
Yeah.
Yo, that shit looks scary, y'all. Like
It was mad
honestly,
scary.
I was really happy that James could do it because I don't think I could have handled myself.
That's would have been the best video of all time.
I know,
That's why you should have been there.
I know, but I don't think I could. I don't think I could handle. Myself
I would like to make
anyways.
this a tradition, and we all should definitely go next time.
That's
Yeah,
definitely a
I
thing
want
for
to
next
be up
year.
in
We
front
will.
next time.
Oh,
or
yeah, in the
separate,
front.
so like I don't.
Or,
yeah,
or go in pairs of 2. Let's go in 2.
yeah,
Pairs.
because you really need the space there so that it doesn't ruin the scare for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
You'll hear it going on in front of
Yeah.
you, and it had great music and sound design. Like as you walk through different parts of the forest, like the speakers were really loud in certain sections, and kind of to disorient you to go in like the music would get really loud, and you had to walk through some really narrow hallway,
Yeah.
and like constantly looking around corners, and like there was one room that had like a bunch of bed sheets kind of hanging from the ceiling, so you can't see more than a foot or two in front of you, and you have to keep moving them.
Man.
And there's people behind them, and like there's people crouched in the hallways.
Such simple
So
stuff
many
that's so
actors.
effective. They would,
Yeah.
you'd go through a wooden hallway, and there'd just be somebody on the other side of the wall with like a sledgehammer just hitting the wood really loud. So you walk through it scares the shit out of you.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Man, the cornfield area I feel like was so effective because it's one long path of darkness in a cornfield, and then there's corn as far as you can see to the right, corn as far as you can see to the left, and then there's a path, and then like as you're walking, you see someone like run past the path as fast as they can.
Yeah.
You
When
know,
did corn get scary?
it's just people
It
because
always
people
has
can
been
hide,
scary.
man. You can hide in
Yeah.
it. Like someone can be a couple of feet away from you in a cornfield, and you would legit not see
Fields
them. You know,
Not cool.
fields of shit is always creepy, dude.
Man.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. Crop circles, they're in
Chainsaws.
They're in a field.
What if they
Fields of Joy.
what if they played Fields of Gold like as we're walking through? Would it make it less scary? If
what
they-
song? What's Fields of Gold?
As you walk through fields of barley.
Whose song is this?
Sting.
Sting.
As you
Oh, okay.
walk through fields of gold.
I think that was he mentions in a Netflix documentary that he was really he did some acid and some mushrooms or something.
He came up with that.
That was
Yeah, he was
I think
having
that
some
was kinda
tantric sex
pure
in
gold.
a field of gold.
Trash.
Maybe.
Yeah,
He
boy.
didn't say that specific song was about that, but I always imagined that song had something from that.
He said he held an orgasm for like 3 years or something, right?
That's wild.
He said he was having sex and not going all the way
That's
there
what,
for like 3
It's not
years.
3 years.
No,
It
that's
was,
what
it was tantric, yo.
that's what Don't Stand So Close to Me was about. It's like don't stand so I'll come
so
on you.
close to me.
Yeah, he was like I'll come on you.
I feel like the only
no one,
reason
no one touched me.
You know what it is
Don't
about,
touch me.
though, right?
I can go off at any moment.
Even
Don't
worse
touch me.
than that.
I'm a ticking time bomb.
It's about
a
fucking
slight
your
rub
student.
on my arm. I don't know what's gonna happen.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the only reason I know that fact about Sting is because of Celebrity Deathmatch.
Oh,
Bring
bring that show back, man. Claymation forever, man.
Oh, that was great.
Yo, are we talking about Halloween right now? Can I?
Oh, yeah.
Can I tell
Oh,
you
yeah.
one quick Halloween story?
Please.
So this friend of the show, Chris Calfani, hates.
You can hear him playing saxophone on the
Florida.
Hustle Season Volume 1.
Rise
and,
up.
Yeah, the
Rise
Ladies
up.
and
Flavor
Tracks,
Press.
that theme.
So he every year he doesn't like scary movies, so I make him watch scary movies.
I was
with me
kind of
every
jealous of the
year.
hang. I saw it on Instagram. I was like, they got like some sort of cheese dip or something over there. What were y'all
Oh,
eating?
dude, we had a spinach dip. We had some cake. We got some pizza.
You had a
It was
cake?
good night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bringing the
This was
cake,
a Halloween
bringing a
cake?
cake to a party is wild. It's just-
I invited Butterfly too. She just brought a bunch of stuff. So it was me, James, Butterfly, and Chris, and we were watching The Conjuring.
Oh, so good.
So good. Legitimately, I think it is a scary movie. Like,
Definitely.
It's well put together.
Great
Oh,
special, great
hilarious
special
movie.
effects.
Yeah. I can't stop laughing every time. But so there's a lot of knocking,
Yeah.
door knocking.
It's a classic haunted house movie.
this.
This is
Classic.
one of my
Yeah.
favorite things in the world. Okay, so at some point in the middle of the movie, we're like in the middle of the movie. We're in the heart of the movie. Fucking Chris is hugging a pillow, whatever. But
oh,
Butterfly went outside to go smoke a cigarette.
she went outside to go smoke a cigarette, and we're like enthralled with this movie. And then like at a very silent point in the movie, you just hear at our front door, "Cool, cool, cool." Chris jumps. He just jumps, and she like, pokes her head through the door like, and we're all
Got him. That's a classic, by the way. Sneaking out of the house to make noise outside of the house while other people are watching scary movies is one of the most classic things you can possibly do.
it's true.
He takes his beanie, he puts it over his whole
Oh, my
fucking
God.
head, says, "I hate all you. This is middle school all over again."
He's a soft boy.
He doesn't want to be scared.
Anyway,
He's a pillow biter.
I just want to tell you guys about that because I thought it was the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Conjuring is great. Conjuring 2 is great too, even though it's not as good as the first one. If you want to check,
That whole franchise, the first
Yeah.
one's the best one.
Definitely
Every fucking movie all
The
of
first
those,
one's the
all
best
of the
one.
same, all of these fucking haunted houses for a bargain deal. It's just a dad that gets a house
That's right.
that's super cheap. He's like, oh, nothing's
Nothing's
wrong
wrong
with
with
this.
it.
Nothing's wrong with this at all. And he's like going downstairs, like knocking holes in the walls, finding dead bodies. Oh, no, I mean, I'm sure it was nothing. It had nothing to do with any of the weird shit going on.
No, they're like,
He's in denial the whole time. He always has way too many daughters or something like
There's
like Amityville Horror
Yeah.
and Conjuring. Always like a bunch of girls who scream louder than anything. It's just like this poor guy just trying to save a buck, man.
yeah, no, they'll go downstairs to like there's some sort of thing that there's always like some trap door to a basement, and they walk down it. And
Every
there's
time.
like there's like an operating table and a saw and everything.
Why
and,
is
and,
that?
then the fucking wife is like, "What is it?" And
Nothing.
the dad's like, "I think it's a den. I think I could put some stuff down here.
Yep.
Maybe a TV
I
or
can
over
make
there."
this my man cave.
yeah, seriously. And every time.
There's like
Also-
a doll on a rocking
who's-
chair in the corner.
Who's the real estate agent? They didn't show the whole house.
Hey,
obviously.
Poltergeist, they fucking.
I was gonna say the greatest haunted house movie is still the classic Poltergeist, because that's Coach. Remember Craig T. Nelson
yeah,
was
yeah,
in that.
yeah. Carol Ann.
Oh,
Carol Ann.
and they bad, and they smoke weed the whole movie.
Yes.
You know, they're just smoking joints the whole
That's-
movie.
Hey, you ever notice that during that time in the early 80s, like out of nowhere, it was like smoking weed was super normalized
cool.
by middle class people in
Yeah.
movies. But
Yep.
then right after that, like
Moms and dads.
it was gone. By the
Yeah.
mid 80s, it was over.
And cocaine.
Yep.
Cocaine was like super
Yeah.
norm too in movies. It was just like,
Yeah.
just got a little.
War on drugs.
It wasn't a thing. It wasn't addictive back then.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Um,
I had to tell you guys that story.
That's
'cause
a
it
great
was just,
story, man.
That was awesome.
It's super fucking funny.
I was
That's all
watching
right.
more than one horror movie a day for the whole month.
Yeah,
And, like,
yeah.
follow
I-
them on Twitter.
That's why I wanted to bring
quite
up.
a few. I got quite a few in through the
So
month.
you been like, did you do literally like how many Halloween movies did you do a night? Because like some of you did like multiple, like 2 or 3.
Depends on the
movies a night.
day. You know, I was doing. That was the only thing I was watching. Was a horror movie. I would watch one in the daytime.
I
watch
watched
one
that
during,
movie,
watch at
The
night.
Car.
The Car is fantastic.
What
1975.
are you talking about? That movie
Fantastic.
is terrible.
You don't like horror movies. You just talked about how The Conjuring is the hilarious movie.
No,
It's not.
No. Like, for as far as funny, The Car is hilarious, dude.
Yes,
the car is
it's
so
hilarious.
it's
It's like
that
you're like,
means
how come it's
awful,
not?
though.
You're like, how come it's not realistic? Because it's a horror movie.
No. The movie is so bad. It's like
It's amazing.
It's a campy movie. It's not.
I agree.
Conjuring is not a campy movie.
Okay, is camping bad? Is campy bad to you?
When the movie is campy, I usually don't say it's good.
Do you
That's
think
what
it
I'm
was-
saying.
do
You,
you
don't
think-
like horror movies.
you think-
That's
because
what
I
I'm
think
saying.
it's harder to make a good horror movie than it is to make a campy.
It's a different
horror
type of
movie.
movie.
Yeah,
They're
I
two
don't
different
know.
things. One's like super violent. One's just like
No, it
Can
doesn't
you-
have to be violent. It
it's
just
like-
has to be scary.
it's just like, can you
So was it?
can
was
you
it not
get into
scary?
it or not?
like
Was it not scary for you? Like the car? Did you think that was scary?
the car. I almost turned it. I was watching it with somebody else, and I almost turned it off 20 minutes in because it was like so awful. Like
Oh,
I
no.
mean,
Did you
poorly acted.
Did you finish
like,
it? Not.
I watched the whole fucking movie, dude.
Because that's
But
the
and
thing.
it's an awful. It's like watching a porn without fucking in it. It's like that bad of a movie. Like it's that. It's like watching like Reanimator or something like that, or one of those, or one of those like, or Monkey Shines, one of these movies that's
I
just
never
like,
heard about those movies.
well, these are all like over the top fucking horror, sci-fi horror movies that like are.
It sounds like you
hilarious.
liked it. You're smiling.
Yeah, I like it as a comedy movie and as a campy, funny movie. But
So what's
not
the
as a horror-
difference?
Because he said
Because
he
horror
doesn't think
movies-
it's scary. He doesn't
Because
think it's
horror
scary. You thought it
movies
was
are scary.
No, I don't think any movie's scary.
okay. Well, see, that's the thing. But that's all right. That's strange. That's strange. To
I
me.
just
Movies
like 'em.
don't scare me.
Movies don't
at
scare
all.
me either. I just
Yeah.
like them.
I still get scared by movies.
Oh no, I'm not scared of
That's
I
movies.
still
because
get scared by
that's
movies.
because
I get scared. I get. You know, it was a big.
because you're Nancy.
No, I'm not a Nancy. I'm not a pillow biter, but I'm not a Nancy.
Scary
I'm petty.
movies, scary movies can be bad. I think it's allowed to be bad. You know, what's a good example of this, even though it wasn't a movie, that piece of shit Bly Manor show.
What is that?
That's not really scary though.
But even the plot twist, like I thought some of it was kind of like leaning towards scary and ghosts and stuff. That fucking ending was one of the worst endings I've ever seen.
I thought
my entire life.
I thought that show
Hated it.
was like fucking. It definitely. It says like the wrong title because you think it's going to be a haunted house show, and it's not. It's like a drama.
No.
It's a total just drama.
It's just
still-
you know,
I mean,
Just turned into a
like,
CW show.
Yeah.
They still have like this. They still have the scary elements, but they had like
not enough, right?
they had this fucking piece of shit, M. Night Shyamalan.
Stop trying to just tell the ending as your review.
Nah, fuck it.
No, that's the whole.
this shit.
That's the
Who
whole
cares?
review.
Hey,
I don't
if
give a
y'all,
fuck.
people, then
Yeah, I want to
fast
say
forward
no.
through
Fuck
this.
that.
If you,
Fuck
yeah.
that show. Fuck that ending, and fuck the show.
Yeah.
And by the way, I haven't even seen it, but fuck that movie too.
Yeah, I
Which-
mean,
which movie?
I think
Tar.
that's just interesting to
Oh.
me because that people will go to Halloween movies sometimes just for or horror movies for the campiness of it and the funny part of
Right.
it,
Well,
and then some people actually I know that like
I
getting
love-
scared
I
by
love-
it.
two different things,
I
right.
love, I love the Burbs. I love Beetlejuice. You know, those are like horror.
Those are not a horror
comedies.
movie.
Those
That's
are
not a
comedies.
horror
Horror
movie.
What they
comedies.
horror-
No, those are full-on comedies.
You know what? I think one
No,
of the
a horror
scariest.
comedy is the thing.
Yes.
But-
But I don't think Beetlejuice is one of them. I think Beetlejuice is only
It
a
was
comedy.
kind of that way for
How
me
I
a
is
think
little
so.
that?
bit.
You have people's heads getting cut off. You have all this stuff.
If you're
Like,
a little
it's a-
kid, it's scary.
Yeah, if you're a
I
little
guess
kid,
if you're a
it's
little
Little kid,
kid,
it's scary.
maybe. But
Mhm.
I feel like that's the. I mean,
think
they made a kids movie.
I'm
They made a
pretty
kids cartoon out of the movie. Like,
I mean, that happens all the time.
Yeah,
That's
because
kinda what
there's
they-
a lot of
Ghostbusters,
things that aren't
you know?
appropriate for kids too.
Yeah. No, I think that's. I don't think it's makes it not a horror flick.
I feel like that's any genre of movie.
I'm pretty sure you
anybody
can
say that
Wikipedia
about. Though.
Beetlejuice. I'm pretty sure you can Wikipedia Beetlejuice and it'll say horror comedy.
Yeah,
Well,
maybe.
let me go ahead.
Well, I mean, I feel like you can say that about like any genre because like if it's
You
a
seem to
genre,
say that a lot when
I agree, but because I do think that I feel like if you're an action movie junkie, you just like all the action movies. You know, like whether it's good or bad, you have a much more tolerance for whether or not you think it's a blockbuster, best movie in the world or not, and whether you like the movie or not doesn't necessarily hinge on whether or not you thought the movie was going to win an award or not.
Well,
You know,
we're not
it's
talking
like-
about words. We're talking about scary movies. And the thing about scary movies that makes them different from everything else is everybody is psychologically susceptible
They're stupid.
to a different amount with horror movies. And I think the scariest movie that I've ever seen was Blair Witch Project when it came out.
Yeah.
I was going to say that too.
So
Yeah.
this is the deal. When Blair Witch Project came out, the internet was in its infancy. There was no fucking social media or anything. I saw the movie at like some indie movie theater place in Norfolk. I went home at that night, or the next morning I was looking, because nobody knew nobody had seen a found footage movie style movie like that.
They
yet.
had the website up.
And
and
there
I was
was
going to
a
say there's
website-
more. There was
and there was
website,
a website-
and there was flyers on telephone poles
Right,
saying
right,
that those
right,
guys
right.
were actually missing.
Yeah.
Because that's what I saw. I was
And
like,
there
oh, this
a
is the shit.
Yeah, and so they did the website, and it was very ambiguous. There's nothing on, there wasn't anywhere to look, and they did a great job, and it put enough doubt watching the movie. I think that's one of the. But now you can't do that because it's already been done. Everybody knows. It's just I think horror movies and humans now you can't unless you're like a pussy or unless you're like fucking Chris or something.
Kelly.
Like you're not going to get scared by a movie, or if you're a child or you're somebody that just doesn't watch anything scary ever somehow.
Yes.
Is he talking
It's just
about
like it's
Kelly and
over
I?
because like people used to be scared to shit
Like
when
Kelly?
they saw Frankenstein.
Well, I just 100% disagree with that. Like, their horror movies are more popular than they've ever been. Hulu
We're
had.
not talking about popular. I'm talking about scary.
I'm talking. Can I finish the sentence, James? Can I finish the sentence before you tell me it's wrong? Thanks, buddy. Okay, horror
right.
movies. There's
What?
so many horror movies. Like that's the difference with the internet being everywhere. There's just thousands of things. That used to not be the case. When Blair Witch dropped, that was the only movie like that ever.
And then they,
Now
But
just
it's already-
hundreds of movies come out, and like you just
But
have
they
to wade
use that
through.
trick. They use that trick. It's over. How are you? Unless somebody's never been exposed to it before, they're not going to get the same effect. Like
I'm saying, as a person that watches lots of horror movies, there are still good ones. You just haven't heard of it because there's so much bullshit to wade through. And just like music, a bajillion albums come out a week. There's so much
the
bullshit
style.
to wade through
Because I was
that
gonna
it's easy to say no good music dropped.
Because
which is just false.
Even in the 2000s, like after they did the Blair Witch Project, all movies, even if they were true or false, use that kind of thing where you're like people sneaking up from like and
Jump
having
scares.
the first person
I would
look.
say the next thing after that was Paranormal Activity. Again, a type of movie that everyone claimed there was a whole nother type of movie that no one had ever seen before, right?
Right.
Found footage, same shit,
Yeah,
right?
Same exact shit.
You
Yeah.
got cameras up in a place, and like you see some shit that you didn't think you were supposed to see.
That one,
Right,
yeah,
so
I forgot about that
it
one.
actually didn't end. You know, there's still movies like that. I would say another one like that recently came out was Unfriended. It's like a Zoom, it's like a Skype meeting. It's the same shit. Oh, did you take this video? Who put this video up? Oh shit, can we see that? And it's again found footage of like a different way of showing found footage movies. So that's what I'm saying.
I think found
disagreeing.
found footage movies, and also the jump scare things, which are in a lot of these found footage movies, are. I think it's harder to make a movie scary that doesn't rely on jump scares. It
Agreed.
actually is through the story and the characters
That's why I
and the
like
storytelling.
Hereditary.
It's
good.
and Hereditary fulfills that, and
was dope.
that's what creeps you out. Not
and that's
the
a new
fact that,
movie,
you know.
And but they all have to do stuff now because of what we're talking about. Every horror movie has to have some reason why everyone's phone stopped working.
Right.
Like, oh, we're out in the woods. That's why we don't have service. Oh, this
Yeah.
is set in 1983. That's why it doesn't have.
Somebody's got to have
like,
a husband that's
yeah.
abusive.
Yeah,
Whatever.
everyone. You got to
They could,
have
like-
some way to like take them out of the real world. And much why I thought Unfriended, even though it's kind of got when you look at it, it looks like a shitty teen movie at 1st. But they figured out a way to like, oh, how can this shit still be scary with phones and computers?
Right.
Like, how can something still be creepy? Like, you're like, well, we need to call the police. Every you watch a horror movie, you go like, why didn't somebody call the police?
Yeah.
Or like, why didn't just somebody just call a cab and leave? Or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, phones kill movies pretty quick. Kill a horror movie pretty quick. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. Interesting.
Anyway, there's just so much.
That's
I
interesting.
can talk about this shit all day. We don't have to do that.
Yeah. We don't. We shouldn't.
We shouldn't do
but,
that.
But no. But that is a really good thing to check out though, because I never even thought about it that way, about the campiness of those films. But then when they're done really well, it's just scary. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's like
Yeah.
that's the basic thing for me. I don't watch any of that shit anyway.
I think-
Hereditary though, I've seen parts of it, and I think that's the most scary thing is watching
wait,
somebody.
Have you never watched the whole movie? You've just seen parts of it?
Yes, James. I can see parts of
You know
things.
the
People, no, because like you'll go over to rehearse for some shit. People have that shit on sometimes in the background,
Colin
yo.
Stetson did the music.
Yeah, like they'll
really
creepy
weird.
ass
it'll
music.
be really weird.
Really weird.
It's really weird. I'm not
Background.
kidding. I've gone over to
Oh
places
my
and we're
God.
like rehearsing, and then all of a sudden Hereditary or
Hell
one
yeah.
of those other ones are like on the shit.
Midsommar.
And I think that shit is more scary when you're just watching someone else go through something. You're just watching them go through whatever the fuck they're doing, like putting the string through their skin and shit and all that. You know, any of that torture type stuff. I'm just like, fuck. Man, I can't
Yeah, I don't
even-
need to watch that. I
can't
thought
do
the
that.
new It was pretty scary.
The new
First
It
one.
movies are better than the old ones because they're just not as long.
I saw
better.
the.
We need to start there.
Because they made those for like commercials and shit.
Yeah, like,
the
fuck
first-
all this. We
yeah.
about to be here all day.
Yeah.
I saw chapter
It
one.
was 9 parts.
I love the original It.
Yeah.
I think it's fuck. I mean,
Mad long.
It's super. I got the DVD and everything. It's super long, but it's fun. I love Tim Curry. I love when he.
I feel like that's the thing for
Kiss
the
me,
It movies.
fat
It's just like,
boy.
do you like Tim Curry? Because you just get to look at him.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
that's
I
the
will
best
say-
part of the movies. Because I had that shit. It's on like 3 VHS tapes.
I will say about that particular movie though, or that series, or whatever you want to call it, like
Miniseries.
that was what in the 80s and like 90s.
That was 80s. That was like 86. Too,
I'm
I
saying,
think.
but I'm just saying, when you're a little kid and you watch that shit, it's like the scariest shit.
It's a kid scary movie.
Well,
for sure.
it's all about eating little kids.
Kids in peril.
Okay, it's all about like it's
I don't like all
literally
these.
a whole movie.
Everybody's just defining everybody by how much like you get scared by a horror movie. I'm just not feeling it. It's like, look,
You
I
get to
look,
not like it,
I,
man.
look,
You
I
get to
just,
not like it.
doesn't mean I'm a fucking pussy
It
because I get
directly
scared by shit
correlates
that's
with your
really stupid.
intellectual level, Kelly.
I don't think so. Yeah, none of
It
that
really
is true.
does.
Spicy
You're
food, man.
usually
You don't like it, fuck
intellectually
you.
None of that is
superior.
true.
Pretty-
None of
Pretty
that is
scary
true.
movies don't scare
Look, man,
you.
if you don't like to eat hot sauce on everything, fuck you.
Yeah.
You know how
Exactly.
that. Remember,
You're
remember when
pretty
hot sauce
exactly.
became like that?
picky eater, man. You're a picky eater, picky
picky
movie,
eater.
picky moviegoer, picky book reader.
No,
Picky.
no,
They're all biographies.
No.
They're all biographies.
Yeah.
They're all biographies.
And you probably like all biographies, regardless if they're good, right?
No, that's not true. There's some trash. I got some trash too, and I found out the way how you can return them off of my Kindle, off of my Kindle. So that's
You can
cool.
return a book on a Kindle? I did not know
You
that.
could definitely do that.
What they give you your digital money back?
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I just
Yep.
learned some shit.
That's right. No, I'm petty. All right, we're out of here. I think that's it. That's it.
I had one quick topic.
Oh, here we
Sure.
go.
Oh,
Here we go.
Did you see what what got passed yesterday or this week.
Oh,
Yes.
the drug stuff?
Yeah, cocaine and meth is decriminalized in Oregon.
In Oregon.
In D.C., decriminalized shrooms.
Ooh.
Isn't that wild?
That's kinda wild.
I never thought that would see that.
decriminalize shrooms.
I didn't know that was a
DC did it
debate.
yesterday, 2 days ago.
I didn't know that was even a debate.
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know that was.
I was like, I know
In
there's
my mind.
like, well, I understand, like, of all the things going on in Congress, like, there's a pandemic out there, there's racial injustice, and they're like, you know what?
No, I'm still trying.
Fucking meth, right?
Yeah, right? Something.
We should try to get some of these drugs on the market.
You know what? In a way, I remember being in college and us kind of talking about how amazing that would be. Like, oh, I wish all these things would be legalized. But now it just seems old fashioned, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now we're just like, look, anybody that was trying to get shrooms is getting them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And everyone,
so what?
and everyone that you know that years ago that were like, nah, poo-pooing it, if you will. They all have tried it. They've all done it in some fair. And now they all do.
Well, gummies aren't the same. That's
Well,
not a drug.
That's the other thing. There's that, and it's like, I microdose. Shut the fuck up.
Also,
Come on.
You're just getting high during the day.
Yeah.
That's
Also,
all
we,
you doing.
we live in Virginia where marijuana has been decriminalized.
Capital D.
That doesn't mean legalized.
No.
Yeah.
Like,
Not
it's still,
yet.
you still got to go to somebody's house or meet up somewhere in the shadows or
Make a
something.
podcast.
Make a
It's still
podcast.
illegal. Yeah, this shit. If it's decriminalized, it's still illegal. Like if you sell it, that's still illegal.
Still got
That's
problems.
still illegal.
It's-
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're still
and I'm
gonna-
pretty sure like the amount of cocaine that makes it criminal for that like the threshold like where it's like a gram or something or
Right.
however many grams of weed. Probably for cocaine is a very, 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 very tiny.
I can't
amount
wait
of
to see how they're going to actually implement this because
Well,
that's what makes it interesting. It's
This
like,
also tells me that maybe Oregon has a problem with jails full of meth heads and crackheads.
I think they just have too much stuff.
I think,
because you think, I can't wait to see that very first cocaine dispensary is going to be hilarious.
I'm telling you,
like
listen.
people like walking around looking like, what kind of cocaine is this? Is this a good kind of cocaine? Is it down? Is it up or down?
I don't think this is a dispensary.
They're never going to have a
I think
cocaine
I think they're
dispensary.
trying to
Dispensary's
treat,
coming.
I think they're trying to make it not. I think they're trying to not put addicts straight into jail.
Look,
that's the
I
idea.
think that's
but
the idea.
I'm sure they would
they're
love
gonna have
cocaine
tourism.
in different colors, the Kokomo and all that kind of stuff.
You believe that Kokomo cocaine?
Yeah, the Kokomo cocaine.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have celebrity
Sounds like
types
an
of
album.
cocaine. It's like, oh, this is the Stevie Nicks blend.
Yes, it's
This
Stevie
is
Nicks.
You have
like
to
you know,
proof
It's a little bit of anonymous.
yeah. This is a Eddie Van Halen, not Eddie Van Halen,
You
but
want some of that?
like-
you want that?
No, he
some
had
of
a-
that white
yeah.
during a seance. Here's that fuck.
Yeah, no, definitely
Stevie
that
Nicks
Stevie
blend.
It'd be
Nicks.
like
Stevie Nicks
baseball,
blend.
like baseball cards. Every celebrity that did cocaine is going to have their own strand of cocaine at the cocaine dispensary.
I'm only gonna tell you what.
They give you a picture of Rick James, and it just comes with a little bag. It's like a little one joint in it, and a little bit of cocaine, and a baseball card of Rick James.
There you go.
And boom, you
Right there.
sell it for $80.
Yeah, they're called
I mean, I just like.
Oh,
You
that's
can buy
just super
crack,
freak.
right? You can buy some flavor.
Might as well.
Flav
crack.
Flav, that would be a good one. Yeah, fuck your couch
flavored
brand.
Flav.
From Rick James. Cockroaches.
You know they're gonna do it. They're gonna have cocaine gummies. They're gonna have meth gummies.
Man.
My Coca-Cola might go
Meth
to
chocolate.
original ingredients or something. Original recipe Coca-Cola.
Just put it on toothpaste. Fuck it.
Everything.
You know what I mean? Make it more
Put it in
marketable.
soda.
It would just it did like just I saw that headline, Tony, and I just it was just funny seeing it. It was like oh well, I guess I'm not mad at that.
No.
It wasn't what I expected, but I'm not mad at it.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola bring back the original recipe for the cocaine dispensaries. To be
You
like,
know.
yo, this is Coke original. Back in the day, we used to have this shit everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Call it Coke Classic.
I think
My grandma couldn't put that shit down. She couldn't put it down. I get it.
that's an interesting experiment that they're going to do.
She lived for a long time. though.
Amsterdam.
Well, and on that note, kids, make sure you don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
And wash your
Dare.
hands.
Wash your
And
motherfucking
your,
hands.
Wash your goddamn hands too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, cover your mouth when you cough.
Cover your mouth when you cough. You know what I
Gabe.
mean?
Exactly.
Keep
All those guys.
keep your distance. You know, all that stuff. Don't throw your dragon breath all over the place. You know what I mean? Take a mint with you to meetings, even
Don't
Zoom
be so
meetings.
fragrant, right, Kelly?
Don't be so fragrant about
And flagrant.
right.
Fragrance.
Don't be so
flagrantly
flagrant with your
fragrant.
fragrance.
Don't be fragrant. Don't be throwing your fragrance out
If you're
there.
about to get on,
Oh,
if you're about to get,
tongue-tied.
if you're about to get on a microphone, get a piece of gum first.
Get a piece of gum. Yeah. Spray it, sanitize it. Thank you very much for listening to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Bandcamp, YouTube. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all the shit. We're everywhere. Thank you guys so much for
Wait, are we on MySpace?
See ya. That's it.
Bye.
Bye.
Tune in next week.
We'll see you next week. Thank you guys. Episode 158.